This is the Thayer Podcast for Monday, August 28th, 2023. Somebody asked me how the government can get away with weaponizing its prosecutorial arms and use bogus evidence to convict a person of a crime that was never committed. I like to quote Ayn Rand and her Atlas Shrugged warning about government overstepping its bounds. When you see corruption being rewarded and honesty being a self-sacrifice, you may know that your society is doomed. Half the population of this great country actually believe in their heart of hearts that the 45th President of the United States of America is a criminal. Doesn't matter that the Senate would not convict him twice. However, the mainstream media did, with help from the deep state. That, coupled with 4 grand jury indictments, is all anybody cares about, even without any felony convictions. Contributor Lawrence Haynes wrote, "Every single charge amongst the 4 jurisdictions which have decided to criminalize President Trump's First Amendment protected behavior stretches law to the limit. No one else has ever been charged with the majority of these made-up crimes. There is nothing to them, and, after looking at the zealous Democratic prosecutors, it becomes clear that this is all politically motivated. Fact is, most people want to be left alone and will cave in to government demands whether they fall within due bounds or not. This is a way, albeit a dastardly way, of getting uncooperative citizens to toe the mark, so to speak. So who are these supposedly uncooperative citizens, you ask? Well, there's Steve Bannon, Trump and GOP political strategist. Roger Stone, Trump friend and advisor. Alan Weisselberg, financial officer of the Trump Organization, which was established in 1927, E. Trump and Son. Peter Navarro, Trump White House advisor. Michael Cohen, former Trump personal lawyer. Michael Flynn, U.S. Army Lieutenant General, retired U.S. National Security Advisor. Paul Manafort, former Trump campaign chair. Rick Gates, former Manafort business partner. Elliot Broidy, former Trump fundraiser. And over 1,000 U.S. citizens, many of them charged with seditious conspiracy, for attending the January 6, 2021 Trump rally at the Capitol. But just as the government can have its way with you, if you'll put up with it, or maybe have no choice to, just happens that you can play the same game with folks you perceive as behaving badly. Now listen, this is exactly how the government does it. Somebody does you wrong and denies it. You can sign a misdemeanor complaint against them. As the defendant, they would be required to appear in court and enter a plea. And if pleading not guilty, would be given a subsequent court date. The prosecutor might dismiss the complaint at that point because in reality the only evidence is your testimony. Or he might allow it to proceed to trial. At that point, the defendant has to decide if beating the case is worth perjuring himself, since he'd probably have to in order to refute your testimony. If he gets up the courage to do this, he'll probably beat the case because it's simply your word against his, which isn't going to meet the burden of beyond a reasonable doubt. The majority of people wouldn't want to escalate from a simple misdemeanor to perjury and would simply plead guilty and take a chance at a fine instead. Either way, in the process, the evildoer will learn not to mess with you again because of the hassle and expense of having to go to court, no matter the outcome. And that's exactly how our government's been getting away with fabricated prosecution for years. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Semper Fi.